The following program is brought to you by Naleo TV, the People's Platform.
My name is Andrzej Kramasz, and I'm the gallery director and curator of the shows in the gallery at East Hawaii Cultural Center. The exhibition was curated by me, and we had 16 invited artists for the show. And in this show is the phase one of the show. It's going to be opening tonight, and another phase of the exhibition will be open in June 19th. The inspiration for the exhibition is coming a little bit from deeper perspective, because this year all our exhibitions represent the idea of sense of place. And the exhibition 36 Views of Mauna Loa was of course inspired by very famous work 36 Views of Mount Fuji. It's very easy to relate to hokusai work. We didn't look for literal depiction of Mauna Loa, but more as a deeper perspective of that. You might know the place conceptually, or you can know the place privately, but also you might have struggled to express your feeling through senses like touching, smell, and all of this is one thing that builds our relationship with the place. So I think that it would be important for people to just find something for themselves, because it's about them. I believe that we cannot live without place. When I thought about this exhibition, I thought to invite some artists. When I look for the artists, it was based on my knowledge of their work already. So very often they are conceptually related to place, or intellectually or emotionally, or sometimes through the medium that they use. And the open call was anybody could submit it, because we were interested as many views as possible. I wanted to open to any medium, because medium also opens another doors for interpretations. It's to me way more interesting to see, expression in sculpture or in paintings or video even, right? From open call, that was set up website that it was for free, and based on that each of us could jury separately, not even talking, and giving points. And luckily, of course, we have jurors also, Kanani Daly and Stephen Friedman, that helped me to choose the pieces. It's a big responsibility to work on submission online, and the highest score was included in the show. The entrance of the exhibition, of course, usually we have a title wall, and particularly for this exhibition I wanted to put the artists all over. There's no alphabetical order, it's just like they are scattered through the space. To me, it's a sort of metaphor or suggestion that there are different perspectives. So I look at us always at the exhibition as a one piece. My role as a curator is to create a conversation between those pieces. When you enter the door, there are some, relationship between some colors, but then when you come to the piece, the stories are different, right? So it's kind of tricky way of opening layers of the artwork. And I particularly chosen this time the gallery wide. The white space is kind of blank, and it helps also to the work to pop up from the wall, and all these colors actually or texture or comes from the work directly. In this show, I tried to use very soft lights. I minimized kind of the amount of lamps because I want to keep it kind of calm and soft and more in a meditative way.
This piece is part of it's called part of a Monopoly land grab series that I've been working on over the last few years. It's constructed from cast Monopoly houses, where I make molds of different little Monopoly houses, as well as other buildings that exist in different cities in the state. This one is kind of specific, kind of like a dystopia of resort community kind of construction, thinking about like gated communities and road structures and road movements, and the names that they come up with for some of these different locations or housing communities. In this series, I use invasive plants. This one is the white ginger, which is an invasive plant. It was brought here specifically for like ornamentation that became a big part of traditional, or a part of traditional lei making. But it's not indigenous to Hawaii and the state. And it's very destructive to the Hawaiian landscape and chokes out on Mauna Loa a lot of native and indigenous vegetation and flora and fauna. For me, my work has a sense of humor to it too. It's kind of, I find it funny. It's a part of a board game. It's actually kind of disturbing. Playing the game Monopoly, it's always about how much can you consume, how much can you buy. It's about being a tycoon. And in a lot of ways, it kind of, addresses housing issues that we have here in the state and in Hawaii. And what type of housing communities would we like to see, and what would we not like to see? A lot of times I use like flesh tone pinks, which make me really feel uncomfortable as somebody who's not from here, but I've lived here for 20 years. I want them to ask themselves questions. I feel like in the piece, I usually use three symbols, those three things. You have buildings, something that you can connect to, like the Monopoly house. People say, "Oh, is that a Monopoly house?" Oh, that's funny. They're kind of cookie cutter looking pieces, from a board game. And then you have the pattern of a quilt, which kind of references Hawaiian culture or appropriation of Hawaiian culture into the particular pattern. And then it makes you think about how communities are built and how they're structured, and more than anything, like people to think or start to question those.
Hi, my name is Leslie Gleam. I'm from Oahu, and I'm an aerial photographer, meaning these were taken from helicopters. If I'm going to be a photographer here in Hawaii, I should go see what it's like, right? Every time I go up, I'm given a gift to see this land in a way that nobody else really can. You can't see it driving. It's only from that altitude you begin to see the connections and the life, where the land is kind of writing its own story, because you can see above the different eruptions that has happened and how it lays the skirts. But I've only been doing the aerial since 2017. When I went up just to see what the eruption was going on at the time. I call it in the wild, meaning that it was in the lava fields. I'm afraid of heights, and this was the first time I tried being, and I totally was hooked. And I kept coming back. So I made about 50 some trips over to the Big Island, documenting what it's called a big body of work called Life of the Land, and that's what these are part of. So we spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe up on it, photographing the eruption at that point in time. And it was just, every eruption has its own personality, and this one definitely of Mauna Loa's. It was definitely her, I guess, if you want to say her, because the vastness of it, the way it was flowing down the hill, all of it was just, it told me that this is her, this is this mountain, this is what it's about, this is what has been happening over time, because she erupts and then is silent for a while, then come back up. So for me to see it was incredible.
I painted with soft pastels. I was inspired by Olan Redon and his use of pastels. And I was really interested by the high pigment load that they can imbue onto images, and without sort of the loss of clarity or the loss of saturation that can happen in other mediums like oil paint, acrylic, watercolor. It leaves a pretty fugitive image, so it's really hard for the image to sort of stay in place, but it leaves a high impact for the time that it's visible. It is inspired by St. Peter's Church in Ho'opuloa. It was destroyed in the early 1900s by an eruption that fell down the southwest flank of Mauna Loa. Ho'opuloa was a town just north of Miloli'i in Konahema, and St. Peter's Church was one of the first buildings to be destroyed. And there's a pretty locally famous story of the eruption head entering the church and displacing it from its foundation and carrying it down to the ocean, and where the bell rang 12 times. So it's a sort of abstracted depiction of the bell. Something that underlines a lot of my work is the role of the historical Hawaiian church as a paradox, a place of sort of discontent for the Hawaiian people, but also a sanctuary for Hawaiian culture and for Hawaiian language and for Hawaiian people. And I think that sort of paradoxical substance is important for us to look at moving forward. My connection to Mauna Loa and Ho'opuloa specifically is my family on my dad's side is from Konahema. My great-grandma is Akamu Ma'ele, and the Ma'ele family is from Ho'opuloa originally, and they dispersed after the eruption took the town.
When I first saw the call, I was originally thinking about making a piece that really spoke to that mental health crisis I was going through and how Mauna Loa got me through it. But at the same time, I was reading Marie Alohalani Brown's book, Kapo'e Mo'o Akua. And so in reading that book, I came across this very short little snippet about Kalana Mainu'u, who is a Mo'o Akua, and how one of her iterations lives at the summit of Mauna Loa, and she has this cape, and it's referred to as Kalana Mainu'u's A'ahu Kapahau o Mauna Loa. And so this A'ahu Kapahau o Mauna Loa is capable of creating snow and icy conditions, and she uses it to defeat her enemies. And in that moment, I was like, this feels like a very organic bit of inspiration. So I really wanted to make something that felt like some sort of an inspirational recreation of her cape. Since 2017, I have been a haumana of kapa under the tutelage of my kumu Rowan Hufford. So this piece is made primarily with kapa, which is Hawaiian bark cloth. I took elements that I understand to be sacred to mo'o. In this particular case, the olena is extremely sacred to mo'o. That yellow color is sacred to them. And so I dyed this large kapa with olena, and then I incorporated elements into it that stem from and honor Mauna Loa specifically. And so that includes handmade paper with off-cuttings of kapa. So this is all handmade paper, snowflakes that I cut by hand. Most of these have sort of hidden elements in them that speak to mo'o, so people have to really look at them and sort of try to suss out what those elements might be. I also used soil from Mauna Loa to paint the little mo'o footprints and also the Mauna Loa imagery as well. And so it's a combination of elements that come from Mauna Loa and also speak to Mauna Loa as well. My creation in this piece was inspired by this mo'olelo of Kalana Mai Nu'u, and also as somebody who has done a lot of environmental work in my time, thinking about how these environments have changed and how they are continuing to change and how we can change our ways of living in order to make sure that Kalana Mai Nu'u and her kapa is still able to make snow on Mauna Loa. But I do want people to come at this and have their own interpretations as well.
My media, it's most of the time like Mexican. I want to tell stories about Mexico or Hawaii. This is the o'o bird of Kauai, and it's the story of this extinct bird singing by himself in the middle of the island. My media or my technique calls cartapesta is layers of paper, and most of my work is like a piñata technique. But then with the years, I start trying to make more handmade papers, and I start working with amate paper. It's a Mexican paper, very similar like capa. In one moment, my wife tell me, in Mexico, you need to learn how the Hawaiians work the capa. It's very similar like Mexican, and that's why we came here. And I start learning capa cloth with my kumu Rowan. She's pushed me a lot of ways to be more risk in my art and be perseverance with my kapa. It's the skull of a bird, no, and it's the bird extinct like a lot of the birds in Hawaii. When I work with the skulls of animals, it's like a little bit like the Egyptians think, if you don't have a good life in this life, the next life is gonna be better. And it's like kind of an offer from the birth to, I hope, the next life. That's why it's like inspiration. I hear the stories here like these night marchers, these long guys, ghosts taking care for the Aina. And this is like the night marcher of this bird, because I think not only the warriors are the men or the human, we have a lot of warriors in the animal kingdom too.
Well, my piece is relatively obvious, I think. It's a show about Mauna Loa, so I think it speaks for itself. It's sure better. We were having a talk. I was not really intending to be here, but we were talking about it, and he said he was short that it might be good to have a piece, and it immediately came to me what to do. I just designed it in my head right on the spot. This is something that I had never worked with before. It is epoxy paste. It comes in 2 buckets and you mix it together, and it's very solid, but you can roll it out the way you would clay. Almost any other material would be too weak to withstand the stress of being this big. First, I made a platform, put bracing so that it would keep it dead flat, coated it with varnish so that this material would not stick to it. Then I made an armature so it has metal inside of it. So I started laying the coils out, and as I would get them, it just kind of came together. I knew I wanted it to have a certain amount of pitch to imply the mountain, so it's really just a profile of Mauna Loa. I made cleats that attach to the wall, and then cleats that attach to the piece, and it just sets on the cleats. I'm very happy with it. I like the shadow underneath it. It emphasizes that it's not flat.
Tonight we have an opening exhibition of 36 Views of Mauna Loa, and most of the artists are coming. I really hope that they're gonna like the show. Getting out of your own skin and seeing another perspective on the same subject that you are working, it's very interesting.
We came to see Sherry's piece. Sherry's our friend, and it's cold wax, and we just adore it.
I hope that if they're concentrating on Mauna Loa and really feeling that majestic, awe-inspiring energy that is the real Mauna Loa, that they will see elements and be able to read elements into this. It is wonderful to be back in this space and to have it be alive with all the variety of art that we're seeing tonight, and the amazing talent, creativity, and conceptual thought that has been put into each of these pieces. This is a wonderful venue. It's a treasure, it's a gem in Hilo. So we're very happy to be in this space again, and I'm very honored to have a piece in it.
All of them are beautiful, but what is touched my heart deeply is this piece for sure, because it's named The Reflection. Well, because it looks like everything is chaos and everything has its own lines. So it feels like, as a land, it always changes, and it looks always perfect, even it's in chaos inside. So it's really touched something within me,
I'm the son, and this is the grandson of the artist whose work is behind us. We've always been big fans of Mom as an artist. I mean, I grew up constantly hanging out with Mom at art shows and art conferences and so-called campus brat. It's really fulfilling, for me to see her stuff live in the wild, if you will. I get to see it when she's making it, but it's even better to see it when it's really out in an exhibition, when there's, real people coming to check it out.
I'm an abstract expressionist, and I wanted to create something to make people think about Mauna Loa and how it affects their lives. So it's called Reflections 2026, so that people can think about how calm it is, and then it slowly builds up to a crescendo, then has this massive eruption, and then quiets down, then back to the sea, and it's cyclical.
Well, Danielle's piece, for sure. And I really love color. So it's interesting that Danielle's piece, I really would have noticed it, just all the different textures and the way they're organized. And I know he did it with fire, which is very chaotic. It's just amazing the amount of organization that happened through the processes that he used.
So in a way, instead of representing Mauna Loa, I wanted to actually bring a piece of Mauna Loa to the museum. So I transform materials such as wood into almost like a lava rock pillar extracted from Mauna Loa. So in a way, the same way that the fresh lava is very fragile, this piece kind of have that same idea. And just like Pele forms this island and then landscapes as temperature, contact with water changes the shape, I use fire as my material to paint.
And I was just passing by and I just saw a beautiful amount of people, you know, and I was curious, who are they and what you're doing guys here? And I believe that art is the most powerful thing the human can create. So to be surrounded by different artists and their art is very important just for, you know, me as a human being. So yeah, I'm very enjoying here actually.
Wonderful to have a group show. And that includes a lot of local artists. It's a wonderful opportunity for our community to kind of celebrate together. And I think because Andrzej Kramars, our gallery director and curator, he conceptualizes the exhibitions. The 36 Views of Mauna Loa is one opportunity to bring the entire sort of Hawaii community together. And that's the part I love about it. I mean, look at all the people here. It's really exciting.
I think it's beautiful. I mean, really to think about the longest mountain, the one longest mountain in the world, but then to have so many different artists and perspectives share their, not just their expression, but their relationship with this part of the Aina. And I also really enjoyed looking at a lot of the aspects of the dualities between the fiery part of Mauna Loa and the icy part of Mauna Loa. So I'm glad that all of these parts were spoken to in this exhibit.
Excellent exhibition. It's a non-representational exhibition of an object that's hyper-represented in the islands. So that's kind of why East Hawaii Cultural Center is here, is to do things that challenge the traditional perceptions. This gallery is extraordinary because of Andrzej Kramars. This is a vision of a curator offers a canvas for the community to paint on. Normally in Hawaii, you see a lot of decorative representational art. Here we have an opportunity to see people coming from other perspectives. This is a great show for that reason.